everyone, Michael here. Let's finish up this question and answer session today. I last left off talking about the various Nancy Drew games. Actually, I did not like Secret of the Shadow Ranch all that much. It took me forever to play the game and actually win. Secret of the Old Clock, I guess it was an okay game. I was just really bad at it, so I didn't like it very much. It took me a half hour to beat the golfing section of the game, and I wasn't good at the sewing section of the game either. But apart from those challenges, which took me forever to do, it was an okay game. It was pretty cool. Emily was a fun character.
How you doing, Emily? Don't you know that the things you do make a difference to the world? How you doing, Emily? Put your hands together and we'll make the world a better place.
Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, that was a pretty good game. It had the Hardy Boys in it. The Hardy Boys were characters. You gotta like the Hardy Boys. Also had Laurie Gerard and Tino Balducci and Charlena Purcell, and they're all pretty memorable characters. I also like the ending part of the game, where they had a plot line about Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. It's a pretty awesome thing to have a plot line about. Lincoln, oh wait. That's who I voted for in the last election, Abraham Lincoln. But he didn't win. Now I'm kind of sad. Danger by Design was pretty good. I liked the whole storyline about Minette being incredibly angry and crazy all the time. That was fun, and Heather was pretty nice too. I just can't help being a little bit disappointed at the end of the game because the ending to the game doesn't tell you what happened to Dieter, our JJ, our Jean-Michel Trapenard. Those are three of the characters in the game, and you really don't hear anything at all about them after the game ends. So, that was kind of lame. Ooh, I liked how you had two different endings. That was a pretty good idea. I liked it. I mean, sure, there were some problems with the game, like it had a bunch of extended walking sequences, but overall, I'd say that Danger by Design was a very solid effort. Creature of Kapu Cave, on the other hand, I think it's not really that much of a solid effort. If you check, it's a lot shorter than most of the other games. And the storyline didn't really make too much sense at all. The ending of the game was more explaining the storyline rather than wrapping up the storyline. And I think most people didn't like that game because of the Hardy Boys. They're in that game, but they look different from the way they did in Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. And they kind of copy-pasted things from other games like the Fishing Challenge. I don't know, so I guess overall it was really kind of a short game. The plot was kind of confusing because most of the plot was just wandering around doing thrash jar analysis. And that's not very mysterious. So overall, I'd say that game is sort of half and half. There's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff. White Wolf of Icicle Creek kind of took the series in a completely different direction. There was a completely different interface. The game was now widescreen. You didn't have to play it as full screen. You can play it in a little window in your computer. There's a completely different setup for talking to other people. There was a completely different setup for the inventory and that sort of thing. I think maybe that's why Creature of Kapu Cave is so short. It's because they were busy working on the interface design and all the changes for White Wolf of Icicle Creek. So they were kind of focused on that when they were busy making Creature of Kapu Cave. So Creature of Kapu Cave kind of got pushed to a side a little bit during development. Maybe that's what happened, I'm not sure. But in any case, White Wolf of Icicle Creek, that was a pretty fun game. It had a bunch of characters. It had a bunch of puzzles. It was pretty solid. The Fox and Geese game, yes, that was a really tough game, but besides from that, I really kind of liked White Wolf of Icicle Creek. It was pretty fun. Legend of the Crystal Skull. I thought that was a pretty good game. It was kind of dark because it took place at night. The characters are pretty good. I like Henry Bollet. Overall, it's a pretty good game. I haven't played it since last year when I made a video walkthrough for it, but, you know, I wouldn't mind playing it again. It's a pretty good game. Phantom of Venice. I want to play that game again. It was really good. I liked it. Sort of like the final scene, I liked it because there was a plot. You have the plot line of uncovering the gang of bandits, villains who were stealing things from all over Venice. I like that. It kept the plot of the game moving forward. Haunting of Castle Malloy. Aye, that's a game that takes place in Ireland. Aye, it does. So that means it can't possibly be bad. I liked Kyler. She was a good character. She was really interesting. She didn't really do much besides sit in the library and read a book, but I liked her anyway. Haunting of Castle Malloy is pretty good. I kind of like Phantom of Venice a little bit more than that, but, you know, it was still a pretty good game anyway. Okay, so there you go. All the Nancy Drew games, that's what I think about them. Yes, I'm finally finished with a 7-minute response to one question. Yeah! No, I didn't see the Nancy Drew movie. I meant to, but then I didn't. Everybody else in my family saw the movie, though, and my mom said that the police chief, Chief Police McGinnis, I believe is his name, she said he was pretty awesome. So, hey, something for me to look forward to whenever I watch the movie. I think I mentioned this while doing Danger on Deception Island, but in that game I kept saying White House instead of Lighthouse, and I'm like, okay, why don't I make a Nancy Drew game about the White House? There's already been a game where Nancy goes to Washington, D.C., but I thought they could have a game where, you know, President Obama needs Nancy's help because the White House is being haunted by the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, and it's a spooky mystery, and President Obama needs Nancy's help to solve the mystery. It could be kind of fun. I've also thought about the idea of reusing characters in the Nancy Drew series. They did it a couple of times with Professor Hotchkiss and, you know, Prudence Rutherford! She shows up in a couple of the Nancy Drew games, but you never see her as a character. You only hear her on the phone. And you know, at the end of Phantom of Venice, the culprit says that he or she will be back to get revenge on Nancy. That's definitely a possibility in my mind, too. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, a repeat performance from one of the villains in one of the earlier Nancy Drew games. I guess I'll go with the villain from Haunted Carousel. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the game, that is. But basically, the culprit in that game is the person I'm thinking I wouldn't mind seeing make a repeat performance. Either that villain or Samantha Quick. That could be pretty interesting, too. If in a future game, the villain from the Haunted Carousel teams up with Samantha Quick in order to get revenge on Nancy.